Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julius once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1080, The Legendary Hero. And, the art this week is just another fan request. It's Hiyori and Kawamatsu doing origami together, which is cute. This is the first chapter in quite some time that we have had a completely Luffy-less chapter on our hands. I know last chapter we didn't have Luffy in it, but it was still like Egghead Island at least, so it was Luffy adjacent. But this chapter is just completely away from the Luffy plot because we're going to Hachinosu, the island of pirates, the kingdom of Blackbeard, and we'll get to that term in a little bit because, well, the island's going crazy. Blackbeard's men, his underlings, are running all over the island because they are hunting for an escaped prisoner, Koby. Yeah, that's right. Koby broke free. He got out because he's just that cool. And as he's running around, the island itself is telling people that, hey, you guys gotta go find Koby. Also, my left chest feels kind of weird. I think all the slaves escaped as well. The reason the island is talking to them is because Avalo Pizarro is talking to them. Because he is the island. You thought Pika was strong with the stone fruit. Try a man who can become one with an island because he ate the island fruit. So yeah, he is the island man who ate the island fruit. And while he's telling, the prisoners to go look for him, he goes, I could do it myself. And Shiryu tells him, listen, the last time, that happened, you caused a little too much damage. He's like, you're right, the chief's a bit mad at me for that, but hey, at least I can give directions. And while that's going on, Vasco Shot, another member of Blackbeard's crew, says, hey, why don't I go after the kid, You can find him if there's nowhere for him to hide. And Pizarro points that out to him that, hey, that's just as bad as wrecking the island, so that's not gonna do. The reason he suggests this idea, though, is because Vasco Shot ate the glug glug fruit, turning him into an alcohol human, which is the perfect devil fruit for him. Yeah, Blackbeard really picked like the exact correct devil fruits to give to his crew. Also, in other news, we have the official name of Sanwan Wolf's devil fruit. He ate the big fruit, which turns him into a gigantification man, on top of already being a giant. So, if giants were so big that Dory could keep Luffy in the palm of his hand, and Sanwan Wolf is a giant who ate a devil fruit that can put a giant in his hand, well, that should tell you he truly is the great battleship. Dude's taking a nap, though. He's just kind of sleeping there. In fact, while he's sleeping there, though, the bubble of snot that's coming out of his nose, and drifting upward is so huge and so durable that Vasco Shot can actually sit on one and use it to get an aerial view around him. This appears to be the 4 members of Blackbeard's crew that he left behind while he was off to do his own thing. If you narrow down the list of Blackbeard pirate crew members that we have not seen in recent chapters, this leads to oh, I just realized Katarina Devon. She wasn't in either of those chapters, and she's got that mythical 9-tailed fox. If Devon is heading towards Egghead Island, and Kuzan's heading towards Egghead Island because Kuzan wasn't in either of these chapters, aside from a flashback we'll get to in a moment, I think that leaves the rest of Blackbeard's crew, because I believe it was, you had Van Augur, you had Burgess, you had Blackbeard himself, and you had, the doctor, Doc Q. The 4 of them were attacking Law. Then you have the 4 I just mentioned here at Hachinosu. So of Blackbeard's 10 Titanic commanders, 7 of them have been accounted for. Which means Devon and I forgot about Lafitte, the sneaky boy. So Lafitte is also not accounted for. So if Kuzan is the 10th Titanic commander, then that means all 10 have been accounted for now, because Lafitte, Kuzan, and Devon should all be heading to Egghead Island on that ship, unless Kuzan is just an ally, in which case we would have 4, 4, and 4, and we might be meeting the next Titanic commander, the 10th one, at Egghead, whoever they may be. If it is Kuzan, we get the reveal, we get the official name. If not, we find out who it is. For all we know, it could be York. It could be the man on the inside, or man in this case, but the man on the inside. Or it could not, I don't know. Devon has the power to turn into anyone. Will that affect how the Seraphim respond to, taking their commands and stuff? This is not looking good, now that I'm thinking about who's actually where. And this isn't even the main point of the chapter. It's just process of elimination has caused a new theory to pop up. So that's interesting. Well, anyways, the 4 that are here, they got their time cut out for them, because going back to the actual chapter, we see Koby running around having freed the slaves alongside himself. He's got this, ball and chain on him that he has to hold on to because it was holding him down, and he decides to become the valiant distraction so that the slaves can get away. The reason he's such a big distraction, though, is because of the bounty put on his head by Cross Guild. For all we know right now, Cross Guild has a star system, and they were putting bounties on Marines. But from this we learn that each star is worth roughly 100 million berries. Normally, a captain of the Navy is worth 1 star. Koby's worth 5. There's a number of factors that are probably the reason. I would say at first the Rocky Port incident, second the fact that everybody loves Koby already, and third and most importantly, he is Garp's protege. He is the student of Garp. There's also Helmeppo, but Koby is the boy of Garp, which, is something important. We know Garp's heading to Hachinosu to save Koby, so to have Koby be so important to him could help put a big bounty on his head. As Koby is running around, though, he has a brief flashback to the reason why Blackbeard captured him and not just kill him outright. It's because Blackbeard wants to use the Navy's little hero as a bargaining chip. And unfortunately for him, Koby tells him, "I'm not really worth much considering I'm a member of SWORD." Now, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was some secret organization, but apparently it's not. Blackbeard, however, had never heard of it, and he just goes, "The hell's SWORD?" And Kuzan's like, ooh, I know. So, here is the official details on what SWORD is. It's the Black Ops of the Marines. These are members of the Marines who have basically renounced their Marinehood, and because of this, they are able to do things off the record that normally, under normal circumstances, their hands would be tied on. So if they, get a little too rough with pirates, or if they go somewhere they're not allowed, or if they do something they shouldn't do, they can be disavowed by the Navy, or they can, they can give credit to the Navy if everything turns out fine, but if not, then they're kind of the fall guys. They take the risk because they don't have to follow all of the rules. I wouldn't be shocked if Smoker's a member of this, because how would he not jump at the opportunity to tell the Marine higher-ups, "I want to do what I want," and they definitely made him one. I'm calling it now. Smoker is a member of SWORD. Especially since we see later on in the chapter Tashigi's here. But I'll get to that. The reason Blackbeard wants to use Koby as a bargaining chip is because he wants to create a nation where pirates can live in peace and destroy, loot, and plunder as they please. A nation of pirates known as the Blackbeard Kingdom. And he's even willing to be world government affiliated. He'll even pay the monthly tribute or whatever it is they do. Maybe he is willing to, because he wants to be a kingdom of pirates and the king of those pirates. Kind of a fast track, a little bit of avoiding Laugh Tale if I was him, but he would be considered the king of a nation of pirates. It's one way to become king of the pirates here. And unfortunately for him, Koby might not be that bargaining chip. Because, again, member of Sword. If the Marines say it, they can just be like, he's not a member of us. He's not worth anything. But he is worth something to someone. And because of that, Blackbeard's willing to keep him around as a bop to the nose of the world government should he need it. What Blackbeard wasn't calculating on is, as we see in Koby's little flashback, Perona is on the island of Hachinosu. I'm very impressed. Perona must have mastered her devil fruit to an extent because she herself can fly. I never reviewed any of the chapters with Perona previously, so I kind of started during Wano. But I always noticed that Perona, she can fly now. That was not something she could do previously. That was only something her astral projection could do. And if she can't, then her astral projection can touch physical objects now. Either way, she's either gotten better at using her devil fruit and can fly, or her astral projection can touch things. Regardless, Perona gives him the keys under the condition that he also frees Gecko Moria. We don't see the results of that conversation, but we know Koby's out and we know Koby's a good guy, so it's probably safe to assume that Moria and Perona have already dipped and are getting off the island because they don't want to stick around for what's about to come. As Koby's running through town, though, pirates are catching up to him left and right, and suddenly a bunch of Marines show up. And not just any Marines, though. 3 big, burly-looking dudes who we never get their names, and wildly enough, as one pirate's coming slashing down with a sword, it goes right through him, as if he was made of clay. Now, I know you're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Hey, a clay-based Logia Devil Fruit user, and we're just gonna not even learn the name of this person? That's crazy, because Logias are kind of rare, and they've always been given to important people. That's because this is actually the power of the Squelch fruit. That's right, Prince Prince Groose and his wonderful pompadour. Anyways, he has the power of the Squelch fruit, which makes him a clay man. Using this ability, he can create these clay golems, which have been attacking the pirates and helping distract and get them all into one spot. It's kind of a cool devil fruit. It works like Mr. Three's wax fruit, except they don't solidify. They just become malleable and puppetable golems, which is really cool. I love golems. I use them in D&D, so this is a devil fruit that I think is really cool. It doesn't top what devil fruit I would eat, but it's definitely a nice one that I would definitely want someone on my team to have. But that's not the only devil fruit we get to see. That's right, Oda is just pulling out all the stops, all the devil fruits, every idea. Here we go, because a couple pirates, they're chasing around looking for Koby, and they see this random marine girl, and she's yelling at a building, and she has a whip, and she's smacking the building, and every time she smacks the building scoots a little. That's because this young woman is Kujaku, a tamer woman who ate the whip fruit, and also happens to be the granddaughter of Suru. So now we know why Garp was so big on Luffy becoming a Marine. It's because one of his co-workers had a daughter who was going to be a Marine, and he was jealous, and he wanted to show off his grandkid. But unfortunately, Luffy became a pirate. Anyways, Kujaku is using her ability to whip the buildings into a circle. Combining this ring of buildings with the distraction of the claymen in the center, all the pirates are being brought together into the center of town for one purpose, which we'll get to in a minute, as Koby finds himself officially surrounded. Hundreds of guns pointing him down, and just as they're about to fire, all that comes out of their guns are flowers. This is because Hibari is here, and she brought a sniper rifle with a special item called flower bullets. I'm not exactly sure how they affect guns, but they allow the bullets to create flowers inside of other people's guns. It reminds me of the Vegapunk flower gun thing that he was showing off in the Vegapunk cover story, but other than that, I'm not really exactly sure how that tech works. Anyways, Hibari's here, and she stopped the guns from hitting Koby, and Koby's like, oh my gosh, Hibari, you came here too? And Hibari goes, yeah, well, don't get the wrong idea. I just happened to be passing by. I was getting lunch, and while I was getting my lunch, I noticed you were here, and I figured, hey, I might as well just pick you up. So that's the reason. Mind you, this is the exact same little girl who was crying and yelling at everyone alongside Helmeppo in order to try and get someone to help save Koby. So yeah, we got a little tsundere, we got a girl with a whip. We know the love of Luffy had Rebecca and Koby with a brief conversation. So Koby, you're starting to become a little anime protagonist all your own here with these ladies around. So if Koby was in any other manga, Koby would be a main character. It is amazing how One Piece is so many chapters long that you can have another manga happening in the middle of your manga. That if Oda wanted to, he wouldn't even have to make a sequel series to One Piece. He wouldn't even have to make a prequel series to One Piece. I would read The Adventures of Koby just because of so many characters that have entered Koby's life, that have entered the One Piece story because of Koby. Anyways, Hibari's here as a distraction to help get Koby away because the main event is happening in that circle of buildings. As that big circle of buildings has finished and it's completed and there's no way out, all these pirates gathered in town square as the golems dissipate, and they finally realize they have been trapped in a ring of buildings. That's when they see a man punching the ocean so hard that his ship flies into the air. Honestly, I think the only reason Garp did that was because he saw the Thousand Sunny do it. He saw Luffy's ship do the Kuda burst, and that's when Garp realized, oh my gosh, I can make my ship fly if I just hit the air hard enough. That's right, Garp's ship flies above Hachinosu, and you see on the ship Helmeppo and you see Tashigi. The two of them saying like, alright everybody, brace yourselves because he's about to do it. Which is why I think Smoker is a member of Sword, because why would Tashigi be a member if Smoker wasn't? You know, she doesn't really have a reason to not be a part of that if Smoker wasn't. Anyways, as that's happening, the ship is flying above and Garp jumps off. And Garp says, what are you doing with my apprentice? He is the future of the Marines and he is my precious pupil. Behold the power of the Galaxy Fist! And he just wipes out the area. Anyone who thinks that Akainu wouldn't have died the day he killed Ace if Garp hadn't been so loyal to the Marines is now officially wrong. Because Whitebeard could crack islands, but Whitebeard was sickly. Garp seems to be perfectly healthy, and mind you, we thought Blackbeard was going to fight Garp. Blackbeard's not here. Blackbeard's number 2 is here, Shiryu, which is nice, but let's face it, invisibility don't do much against good observation haki, which we know Garp has. So, that being said, this is going to be very interesting. We are going to finally see the full frontal assault of the legendary hero of the Marines, Monkey D. Garp. And what an entrance it was. That massive powerhouse blast of power. He is here to save a precious pupil of his own. And unlike last time, where Garp had to sit there and do his job as a Marine while also trying his best as a grandfather. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he did this for Koby, but he won't do this for Ace. The difference is Garp respected Ace's desire to be a pirate and the consequences that came from it. I want that to be very clear. This, on the other hand, is a Marine saving a Marine, so Garp does not have to hold back. But fortunately for me, and under normal circumstances unfortunately, there is no chapter next week. So I'll come up with some other video to post, but this actually really worked out for me because I'm going to a One Piece tournament this weekend, and I'm not going to be in town, which means I won't be able to shoot a video on my usual weekend. But regardless, that's not about me. That's more about what the channel's going to be doing. So anyways, thank you for watching as always. I will see you in the next video, and boy, I cannot wait for next chapter, because I really hope we pick up where Garp is literally putting down. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.